Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Half the work week officially in the rearview mirror. We're working towards the weekend. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. JD Pickell in 15 minutes talking college football. Our SEC Power Rankings this week edition coming up 30 minutes from right now. We begin hour number 2 talking about the Saints. Not early, but in the morning hours yesterday, you saw Rashid Shaheed moved from the Saints up to Seattle. We discussed that trade on the show. And then once we got off the air, right at the buzzer of the trade deadline, you saw Trevor Penning being moved out to Los Angeles to the Chargers, who are really hurting on the offensive line and needed some help. And I talked to you during the show yesterday and said, look, this is the right thing. You've got to trade any value and any assets that you have to try to build for the future, because the present is so bleak for the New Orleans Saints that the immediate future is that bleak by proxy. Like, it just is. There's just not a quick fix to this. So anything that you can get that represents future assets that may help you down the line, you've got to do it. So is the return for Trevor Penning a 6th-round pick in the following, like not even the 2026 draft, the 2027 draft? Is that a big haul? No. But you didn't pick up Trevor Penning's option. You're probably not going to re-sign him. If you can get anything for him, you move him. And I think that's the right thing to do. Now, this is something that is important, I think, to me. We talked about the opposite situation when the clock was running out on Dennis Allen, because I felt like there was a good chance that the organization might make some short-sighted moves to try to save Dennis Allen's job and try to do everything they could with Derek Carr still there, and it may compromise the future of the organization. I was worried about hypothetical decisions the Saints could make to try to get fractionally better right now and mortgage future. And you have to always, as an organization, weigh the right now with the future. And that's the same situation now that Dennis Allen's gone, Derek Carr's gone. You're in that situation right now. It's just flipped. And so right now, you're without your most consistent wide receiver. Rashid Shaheed's gone. Right now, you're without your starting left guard. He's gone. And right now, you're trying to break in a new quarterback whose job just got tougher yesterday. There's no two ways about that. When you're Tyler Shough, and good or like, whatever you want to say about Trevor Penning's ability and his level of play, the staff deemed he was the best left guard they had, and you don't have him anymore. And Shaheed's gone as well. So you're looking at an offensive line that has a rookie at left tackle in Kelvin Banks. You don't have your starting left guard. Your center is out. Your right guard is the worst in the NFL. And your right tackle is a second-year player who's in his first year at right tackle. Like, that's not a good offensive line. Maybe Dylan Radins comes in and gives you a better level of play. That's possible. Maybe Richard steps in and does a really good job while Fuaga's hurt at right tackle. Like, maybe so, but your offensive line is not good. And one of the perceived strengths of this team entering the season at wide receiver, you just lost your biggest big play threat. So Tyler Shough is now really up against it. And I talked a lot about this in August, about trying to cultivate a quality ecosystem for Tyler Shough. Trying to give him every opportunity, even for Spencer Rattler too, trying to give him an opportunity, the best opportunity possible to develop and show himself. And you compromised that yesterday. And I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Because of what I had to say on Monday. If, man, your defensive backs were playing really good. and Chase Young was playing at a Pro Bowl level, and Brian Brzee, with the help of Devon Godshaw, had really stepped forward, and you were stopping the run pretty well, and your bookend tackles were really playing great, and Olave and Shaheed, now healthy, were really getting things done. And, oh, my goodness, Kendre Miller is running the ball, and you've actually got some real things that were looking good. Maybe you're only, what are the Saints, 1-8 right now, so that's 9 games. Maybe you're only 4-5. Maybe you're only 3-6, but you've lost a couple games by a field goal, and you're really competing. Well, at that point, I'm probably going to try to keep Tyler Shough in an advantageous situation. Theoretically, if they were playing that well, or maybe even seeing Rattler, and those guys, you're seeing strides. But what did I tell you on Monday? I told you on Monday, there's not a single position group on this team that's league average. Not one. So you're not in a spot where you've got to prioritize the quarterback's development. You're now in a spot where the quarterback is just part of an entire transformation of the roster. And so now my priorities have to change. I can't make decisions just based on the quarterback. And you never make them 100% on the quarterback, but you can prioritize the quarterback. You can't in this situation. In this situation, you've now got to think more so about future assets. And you know what one of those future assets might be? A first-round pick quarterback this year in the top 3 picks in the draft. Like, that may be one of those things. And you may have gotten closer to that yesterday. Like, you may have been. So it's unfortunate for Tyler Shough because they're going to throw him in the deep end of this pool. And, brother, this is a deep end of the pool. This is not actually throwing in the deep end of the pool. This is throwing you out in the middle of the lake, saying, figure it out. There's shore over there. Float on your back, call over some boats, get there one way or another, but we don't have a lot of help for you here. Because they don't. They don't have a good offensive line. The tight end doesn't make plays. Your best wide receiver's gone. You can't run the football. Your second-team running back's out. It's just not good. It's not good. And so what I think happened yesterday, it's been happening since the beginning of the season, but it went further yesterday, is you further diminished Tyler Shough's chances of being the Saints franchise quarterback. They haven't been eliminated. And what have I told you week after week after week after week? This is not new. I've told you this week after week. The odds that Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough is the Saints' 10-year franchise quarterback, the odds are low. 5th-round picks almost never make it. 2nd-round picks, not as good a hit rate as top 10 picks. Just pick an NFL team straight out of a hat. They've probably got a top 20 pick playing quarterback for them. Yes, there are exceptions to that, but probably. And so while that's a rule that your quarterback usually comes out of the top 20, by definition, outside the top 20, those guys don't have a great shot to excel. But it was good to take a chance. I'm okay with the Saints taking a chance on Shough. But based on where that team is now, based on where that roster is now, that just got even worse yesterday, I think the writing was on the wall that New Orleans will be in the market for a quarterback next spring. Like, they probably were anyway. I think it's even likelier now. If it was 75% Monday morning, it's 85% today. I think it's overwhelming that will happen. It's up to Shough to prove me wrong, to prove the Saints' draft pick from last year right. It's going to be an uphill battle. But if Tyler Shough can succeed with this cast of characters, with that offensive line, with multiple patchwork pieces, with a wide receiver core of Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, Devon Vele, Mason Tipton, if he can make this work, whoa, that's a statement. And the same way, if Kellen Moore can make this work, that's a statement. We don't have to worry about Kellen Moore when he's got a really good offense. When he's got a really good offensive personnel, Philly, Dallas, they produce. He's shown it. If he can do it with this group, if Shough can do it with this group, that's a statement. I just think the Saints did the right thing yesterday, recouping as much as they could for 2 of their assets. They're limited their assets. They did the right thing there. It probably is at the detriment of Tyler Shough. And you're probably looking at the Saints drafting a quarterback in the spring. And guess what? Most Saints fans at this point are good with that. Most Saints fans are good with that. Because the vast majority of those Saints fans at this point have never seen a quarterback taken that early. Some have, a few. There are a few out there, not many. And I think that's what you inched toward yesterday. I have not praised the Saints much. I blasted the entire organization on Monday, and that's kind of been the vibe since late last year. But they did the right thing yesterday, and now we just got to play out this string. Not a lot of fun, but it is what it is. Tough for Tyler Shough. We'll see what he can do coming up on Sunday. All right, that's first segment here in hour number one. We get our SEC football power rankings coming in about 20 minutes. We'll step aside. When we come back, J.D. Pickell talking National College Football storylines next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. That's the model at Genesis. And when I say luxury brand, it's not only just how wonderful the line of vehicles is, and it is a wonderful line of vehicles, but it's also just the facility, the people, and what they do over there at Genesis of Baton Rouge. And my example that I've given you all a few times is like they've got this room that just looks like an empty room in the showroom. Like, why would you have an empty room? Well, it's empty room sometimes, but oftentimes someone's purchasing a vehicle and you're able to drive into that room to go through the features of the vehicle in a climate-controlled environment. So in August, it's not 105. June afternoons, it's not raining on you. In January, it's not 36 or wet and soggy and damp. You just go into a climate control area and go through all the features of the vehicle. That's just a luxury that not all car dealerships and showrooms have. The people are going to treat you like a guest, not a customer. They're not going to be pushy. They're not going to pressure you. They're just there to help. And then you'll see the line of vehicles, and that'll speak for itself. If you're looking for a test drive, you don't have to go to the showroom. I recommend it. You don't have to. They'll come to you. That's part of the experience as well. They're on Airline at Pickell. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, just stop by. You'll probably be on Airline Highway anyway. Just go see them. You can test drive a vehicle with one of those brand ambassadors. You will not regret it. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find them online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
SEC football power rankings coming your way in 15 minutes. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking to get in that pool of your dreams? You can do it. BuiltByRenaissance.com. BuiltByRenaissance.com. Let's go out to the GemsFirearms.net phone lines. That's where we find our guy, J.D. Pickell. He is, of course, the host of the Hard Count, part of the On3 team. He's with us on Wednesdays. J.D., how we doing?
It'd be better if I was in a pool, brother.
Yeah,
well. That pool you were talking about a second ago, man. It could be a swimming pool would be nice right now. I'm just saying.
It would be nice. We'd rather probably be anywhere than where we are right now. Last time we spoke, I mean, it's been a little bit wild down here. You're outside our little bubble. What's the perception of what's going on in Baton Rouge over the last week and a half from those outside of the madness?
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm like maybe what's the right word? Like the token bubble guy here in Nashville for LSU. So I'm not like in the bubble, maybe I'm like touching the bubble. Yeah, vibes are not great, obviously. Not a lot to be super juiced about if you're speaking about LSU, as I tend to do from time to time on our own platform. I think if you're going to get excited, it's about two things. One, hey, mom's not home, home alone vibes for Garrett Nussmeier and the boys when you go to Tuscaloosa. No more Joe Sloan, no more Brian Kelly. And I have to think, if you're Garrett Nussmeier, you have to feel different throwing passes, knowing you're not walking back to a beat red Brian Kelly on the sideline if it's incomplete. Like, that has to be a good feeling. So maybe we feel a little bit of friskiness from the boys this weekend in Tuscaloosa. Second thing we're excited about, hey, the whole world is now at our fingertips. Everyone's telling us we got the best job in college football available. Let's go swing big. Let's go land Lane Kiffin. Let's go land X, Y, and Z big name. So maybe there's some optimism in what could be ahead, and there's nothing wrong with that, huh? You speak about where LSU gets started. So those two things keep you afloat, but if you want to look at where you are right now when it comes to people being afloat, not afloat, yeah, the boat's taking off.
Well, see, JD, we got a little bit of a scratchiness on the phone, so Jordan's going to hang up, call you right back. But look,
Okay.
there's a point that he's making there that's good. Like you do take a lot of the pressure off, and that's something that happens with these interim deals. I don't know how much. A lot of times when coaches are about to get fired, the Billy Napier situation, certainly the Hugh Freeze situation, the Sam Pittman, that's like a lot of years bubbling up. This did not feel like this. LSU was in the top 5, and then 3 weeks later, boom, your coach is gone. So it didn't feel exactly like that with a lot. I feel like a lot wasn't hanging over these guys. But you do have a different vibe, and there's no question about that. And Frank Wilson's brought out a lot of motivational tactics. So we'll see how that plays on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. Let's talk about that game, JD, and talk about Alabama, what you've seen from them, and what you like about Kalen DeBoer's team since they were just dominated in Week 1 against Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, let's start there. The fact that they got dominated in Week 1 and were ranked number 4 in last night's playoff ranking should be a PSA to all of us of, hey, Week 1 takes are fun, energetic. They're not real life. It's 1 week, one sample size. We all overreact. I think I was on this very show and was like, Kalen DeBoer cannot have any other losses like that going forward. Otherwise, we start talking about his job security, which clearly not something they got to worry about right now when it comes to Kalen DeBoer being the next guy, or the next guy rather behind Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa. So don't think you have to worry about that for a minute. But to answer your question, I love just the level Ty Simpson's operating at right now. Because there's a couple of things about Alabama that make you raise your eyebrow when you put them under the microscope. Hey, that defensive line hasn't been very bully-ish this year relative to previous Bama teams and the Bama standards, giving up 4.5 a clip. Hey, that run game doesn't really remind you of like Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry. It's been a little bit lackluster. But even with all of that being said, Ty Simpson's just shredding people. And so that might just be the way this thing goes for the rest of the year for Alabama. Is it a perfect team? No, but are there perfect teams in college football right now? I would be hard-pressed to say no.
Let's talk about Texas A&M. They go to Columbia to play Missouri, 8-0, ranked 3rd in the country. How do you feel that one goes in Columbia?
I think this one's kind of a Matt Berry alert for me, Hunt. And what I mean by that is you're watching your game, whatever window it is, maybe it's not this game specifically, but then you get a game break. And Matt Berry saying, hang on, we got madness in Tuscaloosa, or hey, we got madness in Columbia, Missouri, or hey, we got madness just wherever it ends up being. And in this specific spot, A&M's now had a full week to hear about how good they are, and Missouri is coming into the spot with a true freshman quarterback. Hunt, they trust Matt Zollers to throw the ball in this one. Like against in Nashville, against Vanderbilt, when College Game Day was in town, it's a one-score game, it's a tie game, 4th and 2, 4th and 4. On both occasions, Drink and Kirby Moore are like, no, Matt Zollers, throw the ball here, brother. And they converted both of them. So I don't think Missouri will be careful. I think it's kind of a weird spot in general. I think A&M wins, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if we get some madness in the first half of Matt Berry alert that this one's a little bit weird early.
How good are BYU and Texas Tech? They'll play each other there in Lubbock, 2 teams that have 8 wins. BYU's undefeated, and Texas Tech is 8-1. They're both in the top 10 in the country.
I think Texas Tech is better than BYU. I'll start there. I think that their raw ingredients are better. I think their front 7 is better. I think their weapons are better. And people are going to hear that and say, this guy's a freaking BYU hater. What's going on with that? If you had seen me in person, you know I resemble almost to a T the complexion of what a BYU fan or student body member would actually resemble. So there's that part. But with that being said, I think Texas Tech, what I just said, the firepower, the personnel, the games in Lubbock. I think if we're going to talk about the college football playoff, Texas Tech has the juice to actually go make something happen here, whereas BYU is a team that is a fun story. Bear Bachmeier is awesome, but I don't think that there's some real legs to them. Should you put them in the college football playoff? Even though I think they will make the college football playoff, I think Texas Tech's got more juice.
Last one here, JD. Appreciate your time. I'm curious what you think about Georgia, who continues to win. They just aren't winning the way that they used to win, where they beat everybody by 30. What do you think about them?
They're kind of class clownish, but they still get A's. You know what I mean? Like there's that kid who's always telling jokes and goofing off in the back of the class, and then the teacher's like, dude, we have a test on this tomorrow. Are you dialed in? That's been Georgia for the better part of this entire season, but then they show up on test day and still find a way to eke out a 90. So I think if they keep flying close to the sun, they're at some point going to get burned. But even if that happens, like 10-2 Georgia with wins over Tennessee and Ole Miss, I still think they get into the college football spot. So I like Georgia. would like them to be a little bit more definitive in some of the things they're doing over the course of these next few Saturdays. But I think that they are going to be playing their best ball when it's time for the playoff.
JD, we appreciate a little bit of time. We'll talk next week.
Appreciate it. Have a good one, man.
You too. That's JD Pickell, host of the Hard Count on 3 Sports. Sorry for the cell phone issues there. Just a little bit scratchy in and out. I feel like you could hear most of what he was saying, but it's kind of a tough listen there at times. So I wanted to get his thoughts on a couple of those games. And I don't think there's a lot of people down here too locked in on BYU and Texas Tech, but BYU's undefeated 8-0. Texas Tech is 8-1, 5-1 in the Big 12. Like, winner of that game kind of takes control of the Big 12 as far as the regular season goes. And Texas Tech's a 10.5-point favorite in that game, so you got to figure that they've got a great chance to win it. But undefeated's undefeated, and BYU is at that point right now. I think his points about LSU and Alabama, again, as we mentioned there at the top, are interesting. There's a part of me that sees an interim bump here. There's a part of me that sees that stadium overwhelming an LSU offense that can't do much, and Alabama scoring points the way that basically Vanderbilt and Ole Miss and Texas A&M did, and it getting way away from LSU. Like, I can see both of those happening, and it'll be just kind of interesting to see how it pans out. We haven't talked a ton this week about LSU and Alabama. I've got a Thursday show and a Friday show. We're going to do a lot of that. You fired an athletic director and hired one in the early part of the week, and there wasn't a game to react to over the weekend. So it's not totally uncommon that we haven't broken down the opponent a ton by Wednesday. I did talk about the running game earlier today, and I did talk a little bit about Alabama on yesterday's show, but it hasn't been a huge focus because there's been so much going on. But there is a game, and these guys do have to suit up and go play in what is one of the most iconic brand matchups in the sport of college football. And it's just a weird week. And it's one of those things that I've talked about a lot over the years. I love college football. LSU, Tiger Stadium, Saturday night, I absolutely adore it. I love doing the pregame show out there between the ramps of the PMAC. I love the way campus feels on a fall Saturday. And when you're in one of those runs, it's like walking on air. But on the flip side, this can happen where, like, it's not like LSU's been a complete disaster this year. They went on the road and beat Clemson. They handled their business against Florida and South Carolina. They played a tough one-score game against Ole Miss. They played a tough one-score game against Vanderbilt, two teams that are in the top 15 in the country, and lost them. And then you got beat by a top 5 team. Like, you got beat in a game you were leading at halftime. Like, they haven't been a complete disaster. But we pulled the plug on the whole season. That's what irks me about college football sometimes. I'm not saying it is wrong. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong to sit there and go, well, I'm a little bit more concerned with who we're hiring as a football coach than whether or not we can stop Bama on third downs on Saturday. That's big picture. It is what it is. But, like, in basketball or baseball, like, you could still course correct. In football, like, you're cooked. And that does make, when it is good, it feels so good because you know how it can be. But, like, when you're in this position and we're sitting here where we are today, like, I look at the numbers. I know what the site and the YouTube numbers say when we write about the athletic director getting fired and the coach getting fired. I know what they say when we break down Alabama's passing game. Like, there's a stark contrast into what people are interested in. It's not on the football field. And that's a bit of a bummer to me because I like sports. I don't like politics. I don't like getting into semantics and trying to peek behind doors to see what's going to happen in a hiring situation where nobody really knows. I like what goes on the field, on the court. That's what I like. And it feels like college football at times shifts over to, well, who are you going to hire? Well, what's the next recruiting class? Like, all those types of things that this used to be the game on the schedule. And what percent of the fan base do we feel like is completely locked in right now? 20%? 9%? Like, what is it? It's not a huge number because you had 3 bad games. That's heavy stuff. It's why those games are really important. It's why 100,000 people lock in and millions watch it, and the ESPN and Fox pay bajillion dollars for the rights. And I get it, but it's not where you want to be right here. If you're LSU on Bama week, you're just kind of thinking about the future as opposed to what's right in front of you, which used to be the biggest game on the calendar. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back with the SEC Power Rankings. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carbo and his team right here in Baton Rouge do awesome work. They're an independent broker. Means they've got contract with dozens and dozens of carriers. They know where your commercial insurance program needs to be placed. And maybe that's a captive. If you're a sizable business and you haven't been shown a captive, you feel like your insurance premiums are squeezing you a little bit, looking for another solution, and it just hasn't been presented, maybe that captive is next for you. And maybe your current broker doesn't have the capability or the understanding to get you into it. It's complex and it's fairly new, relatively speaking. Jonathan Carver and his team at the Howard Insurance Group, they can absolutely get you the information you need about a captive. If your loss history is good, your risk management is good, your premiums are significant, you may be a fit to completely change the way you handle your insurance expenses. These kind of creative solutions are what you need to be looking for in your insurance broker. And Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Howard Insurance Group can do that for you. So if you're an owner of a business, CFO, risk manager, whoever's handling the insurance over there, and you haven't looked at a captive, reach out to the Howard Insurance Group. They're at highlandig.com. Fill out that contact us and get that process started today. It's Jonathan Carbo and the Highland Insurance Group, highlandig.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
There are times where this happens on live radio. I'm not going to try to fake it. I'm just going to be very transparent with you here. Piper Hutchinson, who covers Louisiana politics and higher education, was at a press conference today where LSU President Wade Roos was speaking and he was fielding questions. And she tweeted out a quote of his. And I'll read you the quote. I don't have a lot to comment on it, but I'll give you the quote. Piper Hutchinson tweets, I asked incoming LSU President Wade Roos on the decision to name Verge Ausberry the permanent athletic director. And this is the quote. I'll remove the interim title and then we'll assess the situation. I can't make a very good decision after being on that job for 8 hours. Now, I told you to start the show. I didn't like the process. I didn't like hiring an athletic director a couple of hours after the introductory press conference. Like, to me, that confirms there is no search for an athletic director, and I don't like that. I think Verge is completely qualified for the job and reiterated that as well. But it's just the process I don't like. And now you're getting a quote that suggests that they're taking the interim off, but we'll evaluate it later. I'm not sure what to make of that. So I'm not going to do 10 minutes on a quote that I'm reading off of Twitter. I don't have much more to add to it than that. It's a little vexing, little perplexing. I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm confident that there will be more said on the matter. But right now, I'm just relaying that information to you as to not kind of sleep on it. It's an interesting quote. I'm not sure what to make of that, but I guess we'll get more information. That's just a big old tongue twister. More information as we move forward here with the new inner workings of the administration at LSU. All right, it's Wednesday, bottom of the second hour, Power Rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings.
Texas A&M got the Aggies at the first spot here. I think they're the most complete team in the SEC. I think they're really good at rushing the passer. I think they're explosive on the offensive end at playmaker. I think their quarterback is playing excellent football. They're the best defense in the country on third downs. The Aggies are for real. They're good. They're number one.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Got the Tide at number 2. Their quarterback's playing the best of anybody in the SEC right now. They don't run it great, and they don't stop the run great. That's concerning, but they throw it great, they stop the pass great, and they're beating really good teams. So I think the resume, and from that perspective, I'll take Alabama at number 2.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
It's ugly, but it gets done. I wouldn't suggest they were great against Florida over the weekend, but Gunnar Stockton's gritty and tough, and what I like about Georgia is they can win in a slugfest against Auburn. They can win in a shootout against Ole Miss. They're just a good team. Their one loss is to Alabama, who I've got a little bit above them. But I think Georgia's national championship good. I wouldn't bet on them to win it, but I think they could.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Rebels are good. That's an impressive win, going to Norman and just getting it done up there. I think Trinidad Chambliss has played himself into an NFL draft pick, which is wild. Lane Kiffin is just really good with quarterbacks, identifying them and developing them. I think they run the ball well. I think they can throw it pretty well. The defense is not great. It's not great, but it's been opportunistic and good enough. So that's got them at number 4.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Really nice win by the Sooners to go to Knoxville and beat Tennessee. Matera is healthier, throwing it a little bit. I thought they did a good job at limiting Joey Aguilar at times. Their defense is still very good. I've got Oklahoma there in the 5 slot.
Texas A&M!
Incorrect.
The Texas Longhorns.
Can't have Texas A&M twice. I'm sure there are folks that that's the Jim Schlossnagel there. He's the coach at Texas. He says hook him on TV. Happens to Jordan too. It's all right. Texas, big mover here. Arch Manning's playing better. No two ways about it. Mississippi State's not good. Vanderbilt's defense is okay, but he's just playing a lot better. He was playing bad against the non-conference games they were playing. He's getting better, and their defense is very talented. It hadn't played great. They let Vanderbilt score 21 straight in the fourth quarter. But Texas looks to be more functional. And I've told you this a lot of times. Once you get to this spot, 5, 6, 7 in the rankings, the rest of these teams have got some significant flaws. Texas has got that, but Arch Manning's playing better. He was the main reason I was holding them back all year. I've got Texas all the way up to number 6.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
I know that game was close in Austin, but Texas dominated the first 3 quarters. Vanderbilt came on late. You get credit for that on the scoreboard, not necessarily in the power rankings. I thought Texas was better than Vanderbilt. I think they are more talented than Vanderbilt, but not to dismiss Vanderbilt completely. Got him right there at number 7. Pavia can make plays. He's capable. He did a good job in the fourth quarter against Texas. Give me Vanderbilt at 7.
The Missouri Tigers.
Even with an injury at quarterback, I still think Missouri deserves some flowers, more so because the teams behind them have had significant issues, and Missouri hasn't necessarily shown that to this point. It's a solid Missouri team. They don't do anything spectacular. You look across the stat sheet, there's nothing that jumps out like, whoa, Missouri. They're just pretty good, and their schedule's easy, and that helps. So I got Missouri at number 8.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
That's not a good loss for Tennessee to have Oklahoma come into Neyland and win. It's just not. Tennessee doesn't run it like they did last year, and their defense isn't as good as it was last year. Aguilar makes some perplexing decisions at times, but he does produce through the air as well. Tennessee, good, not great.
The LSU Tigers.
Best of the worst here for LSU. That defense is not nearly what we thought it was, and they can't run the ball. But they're talented enough to have beaten some of the teams that are below them, namely the 2 that are immediately below them. So I'll give LSU the spot at number 10.
The Florida Gators.
Gritty effort by Florida. You don't have a coach. You hang in there with Georgia. Lagway's not a great player. He's not a 5-star talent. They don't run it as well as they should with Jaden Ball and a veteran offensive line. That defensive front that we thought a lot of, they're 10th in the conference in run defense. They don't do a lot great. It's just not a very good team, so I've got them at number 11.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
This might be generous. I don't know. They played Bama tough. Like they've been in a couple of games late, but they're bad. They don't do anything well. They fired Mike Shough, which was a terrible hire by Shane Beamer. He's going to get a chance to redo it. They're going to let the entire staff coordinate the offensive game plan, and then they have their offensive line coach call plays. It's a mess on offense there in Columbia, and we'll see if they can keep Dylan Stewart another year. I have my Dallas Sellers will be gone. I don't have a lot of hopes for South Carolina football moving forward, but they're better than some of the other teams on this list, so I'll put them there at number 12.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Nice win by Jeff Levy. They win their first time in 17 tries in SEC play by going to Arkansas and getting it done by outscoring them in the fourth quarter. They got scored on defense. They have their issues on the offensive side as well. They probably thought they might have to make a quarterback change with Blake Shapen going out with an injury. Backup came in, led a good drive. They went back to Shapen. He threw a pick, but they got it done. They've hung tough. They played well against Texas, played well in some other games this year. They hadn't won, but they finally did. I got them at 13.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Look, you lost. You keep losing. You hadn't won a league game. They're good on offense. They're not the worst team in the league. And they do really well on offense. And I said on Monday, I might keep Bobby Petrino because at least the offense will be good. But they're not a good team. I got them at number 14.
The Auburn Tigers.
I had to dump Auburn to 15. I know Auburn went to Arkansas and won, and we do the transitive property thing, and the head-to-head thing matters in some cases it doesn't. But Auburn got thumped on its home field by Kentucky. That's atrocious. So I've got to move them down to the 15 spot here.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And then you go, wait a second. Kentucky just went to Auburn and won. How are they ahead? Well, wait a second. Auburn played Georgia tough. Auburn went up to Fayetteville and won. It's not a one-game sample size. It's the whole year. Kentucky is the worst team in the league. Auburn's terrible, but their defense is really good. Kentucky doesn't do anything well. but they just got Auburn on the right night. I think if you played this game on Saturday again with Hugh Freeze coaching, Auburn probably wins. I think they're better than Kentucky. I think Kentucky's the worst team in the league. I'm sorry. I know the result on Saturday. Doesn't matter. Kentucky is 16. So those are your SEC power rankings. A&M at 1, Bama at 2. Got Georgia at 3 and Ole Miss at 4. Those are my playoff teams right now. Oklahoma's at 5, Texas at 6, Vanderbilt at 7, Missouri at 8, Tennessee in the 9 spot. Then you got LSU all the way down to 10. That's a sad state of affairs. Florida is at 11, South Carolina 12, Mississippi State 13, Arkansas 14, Auburn 15, and the last spot it is the Kentucky Wildcats. SC Power Rankings on this Wednesday. So we did this exercise at the end of Power Rankings a couple of weeks ago. I actually didn't do it pre-show, so I'm going to do it live on the air here and see what happens here. I'm going to check off A&M's 8 conference opponents and see where they rank in the newest Power Rankings. Okay, they play Auburn, that's 15, Arkansas 14, Mississippi State 13, South Carolina 12, Florida 11, LSU 10, Missouri 8, and Texas 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's it. So Texas A&M's conference schedule does not include, they're number 1 here, so they can't play them. Doesn't include 2 Alabama, doesn't include 3 Georgia, doesn't include 4 Ole Miss, doesn't include 5 Oklahoma, doesn't include 7 Vanderbilt, doesn't include 9 Tennessee, does not include 16 Kentucky. But they play number 15, number 14, number 13, number 12, number 11, number 10, number 8, number 6. That's what I've got. And they're my power rankings. This is not exact science. It's completely subjective. But it does speak to that. I still think A&M is national championship good. I think they're the best team in the SEC. But you swap that schedule around a little bit. You take Arkansas out, put Alabama on. You take Florida out, put Ole Miss on. We may be singing a different tune. That's the beauty of scheduling. And I know that people often talk about, well, I want to play the best. Give me the best. I want to play Florida. I want to play Bama. I want to play Auburn. Well, this is a pretty good way to go about it too. I don't see a lot of people sitting there on national talking head shows going, yeah, A&M's good, but like, kind of a joke. That schedule's pitiful, dude. No one says that. You go, oh, 8-0. Nice job. That's why if you ask me who LSU's permanent opponents are, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Kentucky. That's who I want to play.
Is Vanderbilt's not easy out anymore, though?
I'll take my chances.
Okay.
I'll take my chances with Vanderbilt. All right, we'll come back and close it out.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com is the website. The beauty of working with Renaissance for that pool you've always dreamed about is that you're working with a local company. Joey Blanchard has helped dozens and dozens and dozens of people in Baton Rouge get that pool of your dreams. Doesn't matter what kind of pool you're looking for. You can get the biggest, baddest, fanciest resort style pool you want. Maybe you just want a little cocktail pool. Maybe you want to make sure that your kids can swim in the pool and you take care of them from that perspective. Maybe you want a pool you can sunbathe in. Like, no matter what you're looking for, maybe you want a combination of all that. Joey can help you design it. You work with him. He's the owner. He's there when they're digging that pool. He's there when they're filling that pool, finishing that pool. And you know where you can always find him. That's the beauty of working with a local company, which Renaissance Homes and Pools is. Joey's cell is 225-252-7745. I'll give it to you again. Joey's cell is 225-252-7745. If you're looking to get into the pool of your dreams, you're looking for that outdoor kitchen you've always wanted, to make sure you're getting into that by spring of next year, Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wrapping things up here on this Wednesday. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Reminder, LSU Tarleton State tonight in the PMAC 7 o'clock tip. You get there a little bit early. Half price on select concessions, including beer, until 10 minutes before tip-off. So until 6:50, got that Beat the Buzzer specials. You can get on by and see LSU and Tarleton State. I'll have coverage up on LouisianaSports.net tonight. We'll be talking about it on tomorrow's show. If you'd like to read a game preview of basketball, you can, LouisianaSports.net. We've also got some football content up there as well. Frank Wilson talked on OTB today about the mindset of the team. They're going up there to pick a fight, is what he said. I've got that written over at LouisianaSports.net, plus an injury report on Carius Curran and Whit Weeks. We talked about that today on the show. If you missed any of the show, you can always catch it on demand. We got one more order of business, of course. Let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, but all the flavor you're looking for, perfect for out on the grill, perfect for tailgating, perfect for any situation you're looking for something crisp, refreshing, and light. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, we're going to start it off with a little, I know Halloween just passed, but it's a little freaky. So Tom Brady's been in the news recently for having a cloned dog. His dog currently is a clone of his dog that passed away in 2023. So is cloning your deceased pet, take it or leave it?
I'm going to leave that. That's real?
That is real, yeah.
Leave it alone.
His dog that he currently has is a clone of his pet dog
like
in
that
2023.
I don't like that at all. Makes me feel like it's a robot dog or something. I don't like it. I don't get cloning. I don't understand. I know we did a sheep a while back. Was that in my textbooks when I was a kid or something? I don't like it. The dogs are great. Love dogs.
Yeah.
Like to have a dog, but eventually the dog passes away, and that's the end of the
that's
dog,
it,
and you probably
for real.
got to get a new dog. You don't have to clone. Tom Brady's weird.
Yeah.
Tom Brady needs to let his pets die. He needs to eat a tomato once in a while. We got to chill out with all the weird stuff. It's just weird. Like, you're not playing anymore. Let's just ease back into some normal society here.
You know what that shows me? It shows me that he just has so much money, he doesn't know what to do with it. I'm just going to go ahead and clone my deceased dog from 2 years ago.
If you gave me Tom Brady's money and then said, all right, make a list of what you're going to do, cloning my pet
a dog.
is like 9,356 on the list.
At least. So,
Goodness gracious.
You know, we got to talk about your Cubs. So the Chicago Cubs are in the news because they're likely going to part ways with Kyle Tucker. We already talked about that because he's seeking a contract north of $300 million in free agency. Cubs doing the right thing. Let him hit the road. Take it or leave it.
Leave it. You can't win without stars. Did you watch the World Series?
You
saw Ohtani. You saw Freeman. You saw Betts. You saw Glasnow and Snell and
Even,
Yamamoto.
Toronto.
You saw Vlad Jr., who is absolutely a star. Like, you need that guy in the lineup. And the Cubs have, like, a lot of good players. Like, Ian Happ's a nice player. Dansby Swanson, nice player. Like, hey, that's a really nice second baseman there. Nico Corner. But they don't have a dude. And, like, Tucker was that for 2 months, and then he never was again. So you need to have that guy. You can't get him if you're the Kansas City Royals. If you're the Chicago Cubs, you can.
Yeah.
They should.
All right. This one is kind of near and dear to me. Christmas commercials before Thanksgiving. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Because they're trying to get you to buy stuff, and it's generally a good idea to do some shopping early. Now, my wife on Sunday is trying to play Christmas music over the speakers.
Oh, she's one of the early Christmas.
It's November the 1st. We're not doing that. It's 82 degrees outside. Like, I don't like that. I love Christmas.
Yes.
I need it right, like, the week of Thanksgiving and beyond. I'd prefer it if we just wait till the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade finishes, and then you can let Christmas throw up all over the house.
Yes.
But my wife is a serial holiday skipper. She can't wait to get the pumpkins out September 1st. It's 1,000 degrees. She can't wait to do the Christmas stuff right now. She's a serial holiday skipper. Now Myers is getting involved in Christmas, and he's got added incentive for Christmas because his birthday is the 27th. So he's got, like, I want Christmas and my birthday.
No way.
So it's not there yet, bud. We got 2 months to go. So you got to cool the jets, but his mom does not help in that. So, no, I don't go Christmas music at all for me until after Thanksgiving. I'm okay if you want to throw a decoration up here or there.
Yeah.
But right now, and the commercials are fine because they're trying to get you to buy stuff. But right now, decorations, probably not the time.
Okay, so I got to ask this now. Myers' birthday is December 27th. How are you going to manage this moving forward, knowing that you got Christmas and you got his birthday?
Would you like me to add on to that?
Hey,
Myers' mom's birthday, my wife's birthday, December 30th.
Oh, no.
This is not good for me.
Terrible.
It's a bad deal.
This is like people that
it's a lot
have
of pressure.
girlfriend whose birthday is close to Valentine's Day.
Correct. That's a bad deal, too. Anniversaries and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's bad. So, like, the deal here for me is, like, this year we're going to Shreveport for Christmas.
Okay.
And the 27th is, like, a Saturday, I think. Yeah. So we'll still be in Shreveport. Now, my parents and Alyssa are in charge of his, like, family birthday party. He's only turning 4. He does have friends at school, but, like, they don't know who's having a birthday party when or whatever.
They just show up.
Yeah, like, we had a birthday party for his first one. His second one, we didn't even have a birthday party. Like, whatever. Everyone's gone. He never has to go to school on his birthday, which I guess is a positive. Nice. But never a pool party either. But I've got 2 other cousins who are the 27th as well. First cousin on my dad's side, second cousin on my mom's side. 27th. Babies. We'll get it figured out. But yeah, it's going to be an expensive end of December for me forever.
We're going to pray for your wallet.
That's it. Send a lot of prayers. That's it. Matt's going to drive you home next on AFR. We'll see you tomorrow talking hoops and, of course, LSU Bama on a Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.